This video was going to be about the Pokemon Day Direct and everything new we found out about, but besides one really cool thing, there isn't really much to talk about. So instead of rehashing information about games we already know about that are set to come out within the next 2 months, let's just talk about Pokemon Gen 10. Because Gen 10 is here! It looks so goddamn good. It's Pokemon Wind and Waves. Or no, Winds and Waves. I keep saying Wind and Waves. Winds and Waves. It looks really good, and I want to talk about what we know about the game, what we can speculate about, and just my general thoughts. So we'll start with the trailer, and right away, like I said, we gotta talk about how pretty this game looks. The visuals of this game are insane. This is the graphical upgrade folks have been asking for from Pokemon for so long. And I think it's perfect. It's not overly realistic, it's not too high fidelity, it's stylized and it's pretty and it's detailed. It's something that suits Pokemon so well. Understandably, most people have been asking for instead closer to a Xenoblade kind of idea. Again, we're not asking for Skyrim Pokemon, but just something that looks nicer for these games we love so much. And this is exactly it, not to mention the underwater areas that look so pretty. I am so excited to explore the underwater in a true 3D space. This will make dive fun for once. And look, I've never been a graphics guy. I don't really care how the games look. There were so many people complaining about how flat the buildings in Legends ZA look. And I admit, sure, they do, but it doesn't bother me. Like, I don't care. I loved Legends ZA. But it's understandable to ask and want for more. And it seems like Pokemon Company is finally listening to the majority of fans and taking the development of these games more seriously. Taking their time with it and really putting in their all. And that's what this feels like. I mean, look at the water, the jungle in this looks so pretty. The lava reflects, like, it just looks good. And to that point of taking development more seriously, we're also getting Pokemon devs being able to take their time, because we learned, much to the surprise of many of us, this is not a 2026 holiday game. Pokemon Winds and Waves comes out in 2027, which marks the first time in history that a Pokemon generation is 5 years apart. That's awesome. That is so refreshing that they can really lock in and give us a good experience with this game. I mean, think about it. This trailer is showing us gameplay that when it comes out will be a year old. As good as this game looks in this trailer, there is still, like, realistically 9 months of development time left on the timeline if it's gonna come out in like February. It could come out in November 2027. We don't know, but there is at least 9 months to a year of development time left on top of how good it already looks. And thank God. It can only go up from here. I have heard some folks say, I hope it actually looks like that in the game, and this isn't just like trailer trickery. But frankly, I don't see this being a trick. You can only fake like frame rate and performance in a trailer. Textures would be so incredibly difficult to fake. And if they really wanted to go through the effort and make the textures look way better in the trailer than the game, one, that's a bad idea. People will buy and then immediately refund the game. And two, if they're gonna go through all the effort to make fake textures for a trailer, just make them the real textures. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Not to mention, now I thought that this game came out on Switch 1 and Switch 2 because it ends with simultaneous release in 2027. I misinterpreted that. Simultaneous, I assume, means in every country, because if you check Pokemon.com, they specify that this game will be coming out exclusively on the Nintendo Switch 2, which I think makes a lot of sense, because I don't think the Switch 1 would handle this game. This seems like a lot for the Switch 1. And frankly, cool. I don't care where it is. I just want this game to be as pretty and well-performing as possible. And if that means it needs to be on the Switch 2, then sure. At least it comes out in 2027, and it gives people some time to get one, because admittedly, they're very expensive. But back to the game, we gotta look at our players too. Love the outfits, first of all. They look really cute. But I didn't notice until looking at the official 2D art is that they have these hoverboard-looking objects, one in his hand and one on her back. My immediate guess is that this is our HM replacement, as well as possibly our Sprint, something we can ride fairly quickly on the land, over water, and even possibly use it to dive under the water, because clearly we can dive, so if this is our HM replacement, maybe that's what's going on. But another thing we saw in the trailer is how diverse this map seems to be. Again, I loved Legends Legend CA. I'm still working through the DLC, but after playing that game, seeing a map with oceans and swamps and jungles and even what looks like a volcano, I'm so goddamn excited to not be in a city the whole game. Not to mention this tower. Speaking of like cities, this tower is so pretty, and by my estimation, the central location of the game. This I wouldn't doubt if some kind of battle league or research lab or something, because it's so big and so grand that it seems like most of our adventure will centralize here. The website specified this is an open world styled Pokemon game, my guess similar to Scarlet and Violet. So this is kind of our center town, if I had to assume. And one last note before we get to the starters, because I know we all want to talk about them. I want to talk about potential legendaries. Because look at this cloud. This has to be a hint to a legendary, right? A storm cloud in the shape of a serpent? Well, based on where the region seems to be based off of, there's already a very common prediction. So let's talk about possible legendaries for Pokemon Winds and Waves. So we did not see the legendaries in this trailer. We saw the starters, and we'll talk about them, but we didn't get to actually see the legendaries. However, the trailer ends with the sound design of storms and rushing waves as it fades to black. So it seems like whatever the plot of Winds and Waves is going to be, a massive storm seems to be the centerpiece of it. That plus that one storm cloud in the shape of a serpent, and a story starts to form. Ideas for legendaries start to come across. Well, let's take into the context of the region. This region seems to be based off of Southeast Asia, with Indonesia and Bali as a particular focus. Now, I want to be upfront. I am a sheltered, dumb white boy. I had no idea about any of the culture and religions and myths of this region of the world before researching this video. So I want to apologize up front if anything I say is wrong or mispronounced. I'm trying my best here. There's not really like a good way, as far as I was able to find, to research this without going through interpretations and other people's takes on it. It seems like this isn't a very like organized structure. It's just a collection of people's ideas and how they take things. So again, if I'm wrong in anything I say, feel free to correct me in the comments below. I'm trying to do my best to honor the cultures that we're talking about today. But the jumping off point for all of my research started from a now viral tweet by @HexedWithLuck on Twitter, who went into starter predictions and legendary predictions using various faiths and myths of the region. To quote the tweet directly, a quick Southeast Asia mythology crash course and speculation on new starters by in Indonesian. So look, if I'm going to trust anybody, it's going to be somebody from Indonesia. For the legendaries, they bring up this, quote, interesting thing to note. The King of Nagas, Vasuki, stands as eternal archnemesis to Garuda, Lord of the Winds. This is probably where the Winds and Waves name for the new Pokemon games comes from. And like, that makes perfect sense. If this cloud is this big snake legendary, I'm calling my shot here that these clouds are a face-off from later in the games. This snake from the waters with this large bird from the skies. Winds and Waves. I mean, if you look at the shape of the clouds here, it even looks like it's in water. It's floating in something. Whereas there's this big domineering cloud from above. Anyway, that's the idea for the legendaries. Let's talk about the starters, because oh my god, they are so cute. Look at these starters. I just want to grab all of them and squish them like a little squeaky toy that goes ee, and their eyes pop out. We've got Brout, Pombon, and Gekwa. We've already got some personality just from the trailer alone, but the Pokemon official website did give us some more information. First up, Brout, the lively but clumsy Bean Chick Pokemon. What a cutie, and right now tied for my favorite of the three. Some folks have pointed out this is literally a chickpea, which is adorable. Next up is Pombon, the guileless and friendly puppy Pokemon. This is Red Toby Fox. It's adorable, I love it. This is just Red Toby Fox. And finally, Gekwa, the intelligent water gecko Pokemon. And what a diva she is. Look at her. The first thing I saw, like the first real meme I saw from this entire trailer was this image. Sobble being a girl that poops and Gekwa being a bitch that shits. And that's so fucking true. But besides just the fact that they're adorable and I love them all, and I'm really torn if I want Brout or Gekwa as my starter, we have some more possible information about these starters from that same Twitter user. Now, we've already mentioned the Naga and Garuda, and there's good reason to believe that Gekwa and Brout might lean into those inspirations. After all, Brout is a bird, and Gekwa is a sort of lizard thing that could turn into like a Komodo dragon, or something inspired by a Naga in general. Now, there is one note on Brout I wanted to say though, and that's there's one other possibility I was thinking of, but it's not quite in the region, so it doesn't quite make sense, but I couldn't not bring it up. We have this small, green bird Pokemon. Look at him. When I was thinking about other possible inspirations, I remembered the Kakapo, something that is frankly too visually perfect to not bring up. Look at him. He's a green round bird, and we have a green round bird. It's literally an IRL Pokemon. But the main problem is that the Kakapo only exists in New Zealand. And like, yes, geographically, New Zealand is nearby. As far as I'm aware, it's not a part of Southeast Asia, that's a part of Australia. So like, I don't know. If the cultures are closer than I thought, then cool. I just didn't want to assume two neighboring continents are the same. I don't know. And finally on Pombon, another legend that lines up very well is the Barong, a protective lion-like creature. It's like a master protective spirit, and there's a lot of visual like similarities that an evolution could go in that way, which again just makes a lot of sense and lines up really well. Frankly, these starters are so cute, and I'm torn right now on if I want Brout or Gekwa. I think I'm leaning Brout, and my logic is I love them both equally right now, but thinking of winds and waves, there's probably going to be a lot of water type Pokemon, so I won't be like, there'll be a lot of choices to make for a water Pokemon, so I'm hedging my bet that there'll be more water Pokemon than grass Pokemon. And that just is the only thing I can think of to pick one over the other because I love them both so much. But honestly, my final thoughts, this game looks amazing. I cannot wait for it, but I will patiently wait another year to give them even more time to cook. But oh man, I need this game yesterday. But until next time, as always, thank you for watching RyeTwost. Of all the YouTube channels, it's the second one. Stay toasty, slices.